Hi everyone and welcome back. So what we are going to do is we already have our code ready. We have already discussed about the architecture. Now let's get our hands dirty. What we are going to do is inside application we will create the Next.js application. So here this video is also applicable for the Airbnb because there also we are going to create a Next.js application and we will add all these next auth and authentication mechanism there. So we can just talk about the same thing. It's like a Airbnb app. There also we are going to create a Next.js application, so same video reference can be used there. So here we just created a sample application, and then we will start adding all the required libraries we need to integrate authentication. So it's just like a simple setup is there with the Tailwind CSS, TypeScript, Next.js, and we will start adding. So this is just another application. If you want to have admin.udemy.com, another Next.js TypeScript application, but for now we will focus only on the one, that is, let's say, udemy.com. Admin platform can be used by the creators if we wanted to build it, but I'm going to have just a different layouts for the admin, or like for the creator and for the guest for the udemy.com. So let's go to udemy.com, and there we will start playing with the application. Here we will start adding all the required dependencies we need. So here this is how we are going to integrate a next auth with auth0. This is auth0 provider we are using, right? And these are all the properties we will be passing in the next auth. So if you look into, so I'm just looking at the next auth documentation. You just need to have a auth0 provider inside a next auth options and pass the application ID and the secret and all those things. So this is pretty much the simplified architecture we have already discussed. Next.js is configuring the next auth, and next auth options will be having this auth0 provider. There we are passing application ID, application secret, issuer, ID token, all these properties, and this is the API. Next.js server-side APIs that is going to call the proxy, and that proxy, either you put the authentication logic on the proxy will validate the token which is coming in the headers. First it will validate, then only it will forward the request to the target microservice, making sure that these individual services are hidden, and only a way in is through the proxy. You cannot call these services directly. You have to go in through the proxy only. So putting this authentication logic, validating the token logic, which is called, you can say, validating the if user is authenticated or not. It's like validating that you are coming with a valid token or not. That can be done only on the proxy. If that is the case, otherwise you have to put that same logic on individual external services, checking, okay, token is valid, token is not expired, token represents the valid user. Okay, so this is auth0 user profile we already have. What you can do, you can just use a username password, or you can just also integrate social providers with auth0, like login with the Google, login with the Azure ID, because auth0 provides a social connection, enterprise connections, and database connection. Okay, and here we can specify, okay, this is the next auth, and I will just go into the documentation and try to see what all options I need to pass here. So these are all the properties which you can expect from the auth0 being returned to us. So let's try to look into a little bit on documentation side. So here you can see these are all the different files, and what I'm going to do is, these are the different dependencies. Not much, right? So we need to add the required dependencies. I think we are missing the next auth and all the other dependencies, or we can also create some services down here. Inside the same folder we can create external services. For the Udemy it will be course creator, course manager, category manager, payment service, booking service. And similarly for the Udemy there will be a couple of microservices, we can just bootstrap through the next new application service name. That will just give you the skeleton, and then you can add on add required modules, create a simple packages, all those things we can do because we are using this PNPM workspace and monorepo. So here we can just create all these services together. Okay, I'm creating a course manager, then I'm just using a category manager, which is helping me to visualize all the different categories for the Udemy. So course manager with the course categories. I mean, these services can be any, like booking service, order service. These are notification service, file manager service, because we need to upload a course. So based on the role which the token is giving to the Next.js, we can decide which particular layouts to render and which particular API path. Like you can also change the theme based on these dynamic properties. Okay, so what all we need to provide: sign up, that will push the user to the auth0. Sign in, we will just use a username password from the auth0 to the sign in, and we will just provide allow user to search for the courses if you are a guest user. If you are a content creator, then you can do all those things. You can access the course categories, course module, course path, and create new courses. All the features that are nothing but independent APIs which you can access. Okay, so let's see all these things in the next video. What we are going to do is we are going to play with auth0, the third party authentication provider, and we will create an application there which